G'day, I'm Warwick Schiller. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about a book, and this book's not a horse book, it's a human book. Okay, this book is called The 5 Love Languages, How to Express Heartfelt Commitment to Your Mate. And you're probably thinking right now, what in the world has that got to do with horse training? Well, it has a lot to do with horse training, so please bear with me. But what this book does, it's written by a guy named Gary Chapman, and he's a like a family counsellor, marriage counsellor sort of guy, and he's figured out that there's 5 ways you can show love for your partner: quality time, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, or physical touch. And we each have our own, what he calls your primary love language, which one of those is the one that you need the most. You know, doesn't matter which one it is, but that's the one that makes you feel loved the most. And there's a really good example in this book. A couple comes in and they're having trouble. Okay, he says he's doing everything he can for the relationship, and she says he's not interested in the relationship, and they're just having trouble, you know. So the guy sits him down and he says to the husband, "So, what do you want out of the relationship?" And he says, "Well, what I want her to do is, like, I'd like her to clean around the house and like make me dinner and that sort of thing." And the guy goes, "Okay, so acts of service, that would be your primary love language." He says, "So what are you putting into the relationship?" And the guy says, "Well, I am everything." He says, "You know, I get up at 4:30 in the morning so I can make the kids lunch, and I make sure my wife's breakfast is cooked when she gets up, and I make sure the house is clean when she gets up. And I leave for work early because I like to go to work early, so I get home early, so I get home before she does. And then I like to clean the house and wash the clothes and wash the dishes and have dinner ready on the table when she gets home. And, you know, I'm doing all this and she just doesn't appreciate it." Okay, he says. So he says to the wife, he said, "So, what do you want out of the relationship?" And the wife says, "Well, I'd like him to just sit down when he gets home. Like, he's always busy doing stuff. I'd like him to sit down when he gets home, look me in the eye, and have a 10-minute conversation with me without being distracted." And he said, "Okay, well, your primary love language is quality time." He said, "So I see what's going on here." So he says to the husband, "Why do you get up and do all that stuff for your wife? Why do you do all that for her?" And he says, because I love her. I want to show her I love her." And he says, "Yes, but that's what you want. That's the love language you want. You want her to do that for you. What she would actually like you to do is none of that. She would actually like you to just sit down with her and spend some quality time with her." And he says, "Is that it?" He says, "I don't do all that stuff because I want to. I do that for her." And so can you see how he's trying to do all the stuff for her that he wants her to do for him? So he's giving her the love that he wants, not what she needs. Does that make sense? So anyway, the reason this is important is because I see the same thing with people and their horses. This here is an off-the-track thoroughbred I've been working with recently. And when I first got him here the other day, he was very, like anytime you're around him, he's very distracted, and he's looking off over there and he's looking off over here, and he couldn't just be like this, you know what I mean? He couldn't just stay right here and be quite relaxed and dopey-eyed like that. And what I see at clinics, especially with a lot of women, is they would like to have this here kind of relationship with their horse, where they hang out with them and rub on them and love on them, and it's all great. That's good if that's what you want. And this horse is at that point in our relationship where I can do that with him. But I didn't start out there. That's not what he needed. Horses don't need that. Okay, they'll tolerate it and they're good with it, but what they need first and foremost is someone who's very logical, very black and white, very consistent about their place in the relationship. You know, if you ever want your horse to do anything for you, you have to make sure that basically everything you ask them to do, they do for you. You can't ask them to do some things and say, "Oh, no, don't worry if you don't do that." And other things you ask them to do, you expect them to do, you know. I mean, the big thing is don't lie to your horse. Don't ask for anything you don't want. But anyway, the moral of this story is your horse's love language is clear leadership. That's what they like, okay? Your love language from your horse is probably kisses and cuddles like this, and you see a lot of people trying to get kisses and cuddles, but the horse kicks them and bites them and runs over them and all that sort of stuff, is because the horse is confused about your role and their role in that relationship. Anyway, so this is an off-the-track thoroughbred, came in the other day and was all sorts of problems, and I've had him for a week here. Now he kind of acts like he's kind of happy to be around me, and it's all jolly good. Anyway, so good book, The 5 Love Languages. Get that, have a read of it, and then kind of think about what your horse needs from the relationship and apply that to him. Hope that helps. See you guys next time.